Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gnomon Art Jam today. My name is Josh Herman. I'm the Chief Creative Officer of Gnomon. I'm excited to be here for another art jam. We have another awesome guest this week. Rodrigo Brea is here, and we're going to be playing around with some fun ZBrush features, which I have not played around with some of the project primitive. Alex is also here, so I'm going to get both of them on the stream. Alex, hello, and Rodrigo, hello. How are you two doing today?
What's up?
Doing good.
Welcome to the stream. Like I was just saying, I am excited to kind of jam and do a prop because we don't do a lot of props on the stream. We do a lot of character stuff, a lot of environment stuff. Alex has been playing around with Embergen and some effects and stuff, but props I feel like get they don't get as much love as they deserve. So I'm excited to work on one today.
Poor props.
I hear somebody saying real quick, we have a sound issue from YouTube. Let me know if that's still happening. Chat, as always, if there's issues with the video or sound, please just say something so that we can address them as quick as possible. Is anybody else in the chat seeing sound issues, or are we good to go? I'm gonna keep
I don't know if it's my
talking.
internet, but the Gnomon video you were playing earlier was chugging.
It had a hiccup. I saw that.
I like that we asked if there were sound issues, and then we all went quiet immediately.
Yes. Yeah. Is there any problems here?
Check about sound.
All right.
It's okay now. That's cool.
Thank you, Justin. It sounds like it's
Hello,
okay. All right, right on. All right, let's get into the jam. But before we do that, I wanted to allow Rodrigo to introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you've done, the cool stuff you've worked on, and just a little intro from you.
Sounds good. My name is Rodrigo. I've worked in games for about over 4 years now. I graduated Gnomon as well over 4 years on the digital production program. This is a busy 2 years.
Absolutely, right? Yeah, as a Gnomon alum as well. Yeah,
it went by real quick.
Yeah.
But it's been a blast since. I've been working. I'm still currently there at a company called Survios.
Cool.
We do specifically games for VR. And if you don't mind, I'll bring up my art station. I can show you some of that.
Yeah, please do.
Stuff worked on. All right. And I was telling Josh recently, I also took the character creation for games class. I actually finished last week, and I'll show you guys that I worked on. But so far at Survios, I've worked on 4 different games. The latest one being the Walking Dead Onslaught. Super, super fun project. It's a lot of work, but really, really cool. I was actually in this part in the town of Alexandria. I built all these model kits for the little townhouses. I think I actually have sorry, I'm going really fast. Look at my artwork.
They'll pause the stream later if they want to look. Yeah.
I just built basically kit bash kits to create these houses. I built some props too. So this was a really fun project. Obviously, all of it is VR. And the cool thing is, like, each project was very different in style. Like Raw Data was the first game that Survios released, and it was more on it's a shooter, and it's more on the realistic side. And in this specific thing, I worked on like this pathway of stones, which was laid out on a spline in Unreal. So basically, all the stones eventually kind of like it was basically building a stone kit, and then the spline would just kind of repeat them. Also with the senior environment at the time, we made this kind of like Zen garden gravel.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like raked.
Yeah, so it was a kind of like a mad scientist plan to get it working, but it was really, really fun to do. It involved eventually creating an action in Photoshop so we could expedite the process. But I made this stand here with directions on where you go, because you kind of jump on a tram and shoot a bunch of things that come at you. And then I made this, all the bamboos here are based off this model. It was all hand sculpted, hand painted, and then baked basically on a simpler mesh.
That's cool.
And then a bunch of different games. I worked on Sprint Vector, which is, try to put it in very easy kind of way to think about it. It's like Mario Kart, but on skates. You're basically running through race courses, shooting your other opponents, trying to slow them down. This one was obviously super stylized. Everything was very mesh heavy. All the meshes basically drove the geometry drove all the lighting changes and stuff. But yeah, much more stylized. And then Battlewake was it's a pirate ship fighting game. You handle your own pirate ship. You go about all these crazy different environments. And in this one, I worked on a lot of things. I worked in the environments. I made the ships. There's a creature that you can summon.
That's cool.
And where are you at? I made it. Oh, here. There he goes. So this guy, you can summon this guy, and so it was a nice, it was a nice change to be able to, work on a creature aside from the environment. So, it's fun. You get to wear a lot of hats and do a bunch of different things. So,
yeah, how big is Survios?
Like employee wise, I think somewhere around 100, over 100, something like that.
Cool.
This was the first project that I actually worked on. For a company called GadgetBot. Actually, I worked on this during my last term at Gnomon. I was doing the last demo reel, and then I jumped on an internship. This was super fun, and we took this project basically from the ground up. And I say we because it was myself and another student, Ren Cromwell, and we both worked on this. And we started from scratch and just building this whole thing. Also for VR as well. Super, super fun project that turned out really, really fun to play. And the last one that I'm pretty proud of because the class was amazing was this guy. That this was for Damon Wood's class, the character creation for games, which I highly recommend that class. It's a blast. And Damon
just finished it.
Like last week. Last week was my week 10 in the class. And
very cool.
So, just some
cool,
Kratos looking dude, but based on this concept artist. I guess let me show you the concept. That'll make more sense. He kind of took inspiration from another concept artist. Excellent. Oh, there's a concept. He took that inspiration from another concept artist, which kind of did this dragons versus firefighters based on the Reign of Fire film.
I was just going to say it looks like Kratos meets Matthew McConaughey from Reign of Fire.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like Kratos, McConaughey. You know what I mean? yeah. And then some fireman.
Well, of course, yeah.
Of course.
But it was the sleeveless look. That's a McConaughey special,
right?
Yeah, for sure. Like I love that film, man. Like,
that has some of the best dragons. We were talking about that a couple weeks ago. I love the dragons.
Right.
They're so
absolutely
good.
Absolutely. And it's sometimes, like getting such a giant creature to really have that weight batting their wings and stuff. It's like, and they just nailed.
They were scary. Like that was like they were legitimately not something you want to mess with, which I think is amazing.
That scene where they get to London or something and they're kind of walking through the rubble and the debris in the middle of the road, and you can't really see them, but you feel them constantly there. It's just terrifying, man. I was like, oh, they're gonna get wrecked.
That's good. Well, that's awesome. Very cool.
Thank you.
Right on.
So,
all right.
And
so,
your profile says that you're in Austin.
Yeah. Where are you
I moved from Los Angeles last September, kind of mid-pandemic type of thing. Perfect time to move, I guess. And Survios was like super accommodating when letting me work fully remote.
Where are they based? Are they based in LA?
They're in LA. Yeah, they're in Culver City. So it kind of worked out. Just kind of move away a little bit from the LA pace, I guess. Been living there for 20 something years. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
No, did I say 20 something years? That's
did,
crazy. Yeah. No,
I was gonna ask,
for like I think over 14 years.
Okay,
so,
cool. Yeah.
So,
right on.
But still a lot, though.
Oh yeah, of course.
But
cool city.
Yeah. I'm just like about 25 minutes north of Austin, so not downtown Austin, but just right around there.
Right.
Okay.
Right on.
Cool.
Yeah.
So where are you from?
Yeah. I am originally from Argentina, though. So the super south, like the furthest south.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah, I left there in 2002, I think. So, it's been a while. I was able to go there 2 years ago
Mhm.
to go back, visit friends and stuff, which was crazy because it's been so long since I left, and going back there, it felt like I had seen my friends the day before, which was
Mm.
kind of
Such a weird feeling when like it feels like no time has passed when you talk to somebody.
yeah,
You know?
it's crazy, man. It's like
Yeah.
some weird Twilight Zone kind of thing where it's like, oh, I just saw you guys. Oh, we're just older with more gray hairs. That's it. But
Yeah.
that's it. You know?
Yeah, I've grown a full beard. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the Gnomon product.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Awesome. All right, well, let's get into sculpting some props. We had, or at least I'm going to sculpt a prop along with you. I have no idea how to use this feature, so I'm going to be following you along super closely, at least to see how
Awesome.
it goes.
Me neither. No, I'm just
Cool.
kidding.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. We're just going to learn everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, go ahead. I'll let you lead, and I'm going to put my screen on as well, and then we'll get moving.
Yeah. Oh, you have the
efficiency.
fancy sphere. That's so cool, man.
It's just polyframe.
You know what? I know, but it's not the poled sphere. Anyway,
Sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna wreck it anyway. So there's one thing that I was thinking about it today. Is like that I love about ZBrush itself. It's like every time they come with an update, I feel it's like 3D software like Christmas for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I know they're going to come up with something super cool, and it feels like you get your stocking with a bunch of like cool features, but then there's this one big gift that they're like, oh, this is the big one, right? and they did that with like when they released the cloth sim, which I can play with that a little bit. I love their cloth simming. It's crazy fast. And this one, when they had all these deformers and the new snake hook brushes and all that kind of stuff, I was kind of getting into it, but I did not realize the project primitive. And then when I saw this, I kind of lost it for a moment. It's like, oh my God, this is incredible. So, I love when they release these new features because it's great. There, stop complaining, ZBrush. I'm talking good things about you. So
how are you getting started with it? Like what's
I'm going to start
from a cylinder?
Yeah, I'm going to start with a cylinder. Maybe, add a few subdivisions to this guy. Just make it a little denser for the sake of, because the project primitive is it's amazing, but it does kind of just isolate your surface.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to start with that, and okay. I'm not sure. I was looking at like throwing knives, so I'm gonna see if I can pull off something like that using the project primitive. So no promises, guys.
I just got a tomahawk target like 2 days ago, like a big wooden frame that we've been throwing axes and knives at for the last 3 days. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so fun.
So much fun.
Those are so I wanted to get like a tactical tomahawk, just again for fun. I don't even know if I'll ever use it, but it's cool. So,
just to have one.
Yeah, exactly. So in case anyone, just accessing your deformers, which also they're super powerful, and it's one of those things that the more, which by the way, I guess I'll promote that one as well. Last year, I took Paul Gabriel's class, the advanced digital
sculpting. Yep.
Yeah, and he goes through hard surface modeling and ZBrush, which at first I was like, you have to be crazy to do that. Sure. Now I'm like, you have to be crazy not to do that because it's incredible. Like it's super powerful. And I love Maya. It has its its crazy quirks, but this has you can do so much so quickly. So, anyways, project primitive. So you just access those by hitting the little wheel once you go into your gizmo.
There it is, yeah.
Project primitive, and you just click that, and nothing happens, but you'll get your bounding box for your object, and that will have some arrows that each one will give you different things. For example, radial symmetry. In this case, I don't want to have radial symmetry on, so I'm going to drag it off, and I don't want symmetry right now at this point. It's keeping the settings that I was using before I was playing with this. So
this is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. And then I'm just going to drag whatever's inside this box, which is my projected primitive, Just going to drag it out to see what happens to the surface. And there it is. It's a tiny little cube.
That's why it's not projecting. Yeah.
I think my whatchamacallit, my cylinder is huge also. But let's just make this guy really big.
Mine came out as a sphere.
Yeah, there you go.
Aha.
So you can change, in this case, what is this one? This one is the maximum displacement. Oof. Now it's huge.
Oh, I see.
And then the bounding box for the actual object has also its own thing. So you can actually change what primitive you want. So if I drag that, it's going to turn into a ring, which is exactly what I want in this case.
I'll admit the cones is a weird thing that I haven't gotten used to yet.
Oh, yeah. So as you can see, like, I'm just dragging different, like this one is a modifier, which will modify the shape.
Okay.
As I go.
Yep.
And this one does it too. In this case, it's like kind of tapering the sides and flattening, but I kind of like this sharp edged kind of ring if I want to make a throwing knife. Maybe this thing is huge, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Just drag it up there. Something like that. And you can change the primitives on the fly. Like if you don't want that, again, you just change whatever primitive you want and then change their shapes. As far as like the new surface, like that's clearly, adding topology to what I have already. And then the accept one will accept the shape into the other one and kind of leave it there. Now there is a, no, I don't want to test
like I can just like straight up make a hammer, just like
this.
this.
It's just honestly just clicking and dragging these guys as much
there
as
it is.
No, I want to leave it there. Hey, I had a poly group. Give me back my poly group. I'm just going to accept this guy. There it is. And now if I drag back down, I get a new shape. So let's just change this primitive and make it that sphere. There. Something pointy and dangerous.
What was the accept one? There's so many cones.
Right above on the bounding box of the primitive that you are using.
The white one?
The white one. And just drag it.
Yeah. There we go. Aha, yes.
See, I accepted that one. I don't want to accept them. No, I just want to keep it there. And I'm sure I'm doing something that right now Paul Gaber is like, oh my God, why would you do it that way?
No.
Yeah, how dare you use ZBrush like this? Sorry, Paul.
Do a barrel roll.
Yeah. Also, you'll see in the gizmo inside your object, there's these like little red arrows. If you drag them, you can kind of taper the
yeah, so you could like
shape.
almost clip them.
Yeah, and if you shift click, you can kind of symmetry do that. So I'm trying to get that thing going there. This is supposed to be my blade, so
trying to find
that. Let's taper it.
It's such like using these tools is so different to me. Like it's such a different way of working than I've ever really worked before. But it's also so powerful because you can clearly just like make
this one
something out of nowhere.
It was fascinating to me. I'm like, I saw this and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like I can do all this with just like dragging a couple of cones and moving things around. It's just it's way cool, man. And again, it's the kind of thing that it takes, playing with it and seeing what, like, I don't know, maybe you want to make a throwing lollipop and you just do that, right? But
yeah, you
can really just go to town. And the best part is, if you have, and it's giving you polygroups for each new shape, which for anyone, not familiar, polygroups to me are one of those just incredible, super powerful features.
Yeah.
Like working when I started really like wrapping my head around the working with polygroups thing, I was just like, this is just incredible. And then I don't know, like let's say that's my throwing knife. I'm just gonna mask that area out. I'm going to accept my projected primitive.
Mm-hmm.
And with that area masked out, I'm going to do, let's see, what can we do here? A deformer, which is essentially a lattice. Drag a mask over these guys and invert it so I can just access the
Mm-hmm.
middle points. And I'm going to taper it down a little bit. I obviously want to address this guy. Come on.
Can I ask you a quick question that you might be able to answer?
Absolutely.
So I have made this portion of a hammer.
What?
Like I like.
That's sweet.
But I want to make it like a sledge, where there's like a big old handle here. I know that I could probably just like duplicate this piece over, mash it together, dynamesh it together. But if I have this thing set up, how do I bring my bounding box past this? You know what I mean? Like if I want to extend the handle.
I mean, if you have all your shapes in line already, you can probably add a new primitive and then just modify it from the size of the primitive itself.
Okay.
Meaning, once you accept the last one you added and put a primitive in there and shape it the way that you want it for the handle, you could probably just kind of like I did this one, like I just transform it from its own thing,
Cool.
And in this case, that I have the lathe there and I have the deformer, I'm just going to not that. Oops, that. And grab those guys. Just make it pointy. Ooh, too pointy. No. There we go. And a blade-looking type of thing. And also, like I saw what you were doing, it's like you can also, subtract from the shape as well. Kind of like you did before. Like once you get your new primitive, basically, with this sphere, you get your new primitive past the point where it's just like pulling the surface. Why? I have a feeling that I did something. And there we go. Okay. Yeah. See, I got past the point of where it's adding it, and then it's cutting. It's cutting into. So, for example, in this case, if you were to like do, I'm going to turn symmetry on Y and do radial symmetry. Like something like this, probably, I mean, obviously you can do it with Booleans or some other stuff, but it's a fairly complex shape to kind of just.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a little while.
Yeah, and again, I can still just modify that shape as I go. And sorry, I got it. 1 second, because my dog decides that it's time for him. Say hi to.
Time for some attention.
I know.
That's all right.
It's his time to like sit on my lap and watch me zbrush away.
Yeah, he's totally
learning. Fine. So again, like you can do crazy complex shapes like that, which would be otherwise kind of difficult. I would probably say that maybe very difficult.
I would agree.
And then see, I added, like I accepted the one before, and now I can add that and maybe reduce the radial symmetry. I have no idea what's happening right now, but I'm kind of going with it. So
it does feel like exactly what you just said, where there's these certain moments where you're like, I have an idea of what I'm controlling, but I'm kind of just letting it happen sometimes.
Yeah, it's like in so many ways, it's like pretty, again, like I think it's pretty fascinating the amount
Chaos
of control
magic.
that you have. Yeah, exactly. It's like just let it do its awesome thing. I mean, at some point they're just going to have it where you press a button and hammer, done. But
I feel like I've gotten pretty close to that right now. Just where it's like, oh, this is really cool. Like, all right. I don't entirely know what I was going into this with, but I feel pretty good about it.
See, like here, I was getting this like super crunchy shape, so I'm pulling on the tessellate, and it's just adding a ton of geometry there. And now I have this like perfectly crisp triangle, which sweet. I broke it by moving it. There you go. You know, again, I don't know exactly what's happening in this case, but in for example, if you look at the videos where they were showing this, they're making cars and planes and all kinds of things, like immediately just by dragging cylinders and capsules and reaching the object that they have to something else, right? Like they're changing the primitive. Oh, this is what I guess is what I was saying. It's like if you wanted to do the handle, change the primitive shape, and we don't drag it down. New surface.
It also seems like what I ended up doing was I just Dynameshed the whole piece, and then it's like, I mean, I'll show you what I did, but I Dynameshed this piece and then started just inputting this little detail in there.
Oh yeah.
That I could like drag around.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Now I'm kind of getting inspired on what you're doing. So let's try the. I'm not going to delete it.
This is gonna like okay. This piece could have texture to it.
Primitive. Let's see. Let's try to get a. Nope. Not accept. Oops.
This is amazing.
So weird, all those little cones. It's like I'm not making anything. I'm just watching. Because
yeah, right.
I haven't done any modeling in ZBrush at all other than sculpting. So to me, it's just like, what the fuck is with all these cones?
What are all these cones?
It's the part that you have to like, you know, see, for example, like just you have to like play with them. A lot of the times I was like, okay, what do I do with what now? And but see, like I turned that pyramid shape and just by dragging the modifier into a cone.
Yeah.
And the cone is the cone is a little tapered.
Yeah, it's like it very much in the way that like I think, you know, when people learn ZBrush, like after they learn Maya, they're like, this is such a different headspace, right? That, especially like the action lines and the transpose lines. And now it's like, this is an entirely different way to work in 3D, like completely different. Like it doesn't even equate because it's just all these cones that are different colors doing different things, different orientations. So it's like,
I assume somewhere it's when you hover over the cone, it tells you what it is.
Yep, absolutely. You can see it.
There.
Like,
I can see it down there. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get the shape that I want, and I had it, and I lost it. Okay, here we go.
I'm definitely making like a mall, I think.
Yeah, see, I was trying to go for that same thing, but I lost the point.
So what's the difference between this and all the live Boolean stuff in ZBrush? Because I haven't used that either.
Like Boolean, you can like add these shapes individually as different subtools, so you can almost like layer them in the order in which they're going to be subtracted. This is like just adding straight up the one subtool itself.
Oh, there we go. Right. And the nifty thing about, you know, like the live Booleans is, like Josh was saying, is like each individual subtool, you can modify it, you can change it, you can use array mesh to like lay a bunch of them and then subtract it from something else. Like they have 100% full functionality, just to do pretty much whatever you want.
What the hell? I don't know what I did, but this is super cool looking. Check this out.
Nice. Hey, you know, just break it.
I don't know what I did.
That just happened?
Yeah, I had this masked and I turned on project primitive and it turned into this.
That's weird.
I like it. I'm gonna save it.
I don't know exactly what I did either, but I was like, I had those pyramids, and then I accepted the shape and I just rotated it again, and now I have those. So I'm just gonna make some spiked, you know, kind of hammerhead or something.
This is something where it really feels like you just kind of have to play with it. Like you just got to make some shapes.
Yeah, I can tell by watching that that's the way to go. Taking Paul's class was probably a great idea.
Move stuff around. Like it's. Everybody I've heard from that's taken Paul's class has been like, it's just so much information. It's just steroids of ZBrush.
And the crazy part, it's like these features weren't even out when his class
Oh
was
yeah.
happening. So a lot of this was like, again, to me, it's like, oh shoot, like did he just, like they just added all this stuff. It's just incredible. There.
Don't even understand it, but I really
Yeah.
am happy with what's happened so far. Projecting another primitive. Great. Okay. Oh, it's doing the same thing. Oh, it's the shape. Uh-huh. Okay. So it's like it adds this geometry, and then you can like, I want the cube. What one was the cube? And then you can move it around and scale it. So it's like, I'm going to scale this down. Yeah, okay. This is super cool.
Yeah, I'm again, like I'm pretty fascinated every time. Every time they do that, I'm like, this is just too fun. There.
Mm-hmm. It is super fun. I think that's one of the things where it really does just feel like you're playing, like a lot like you're just playing with this.
I mean, spike ball kind of thing.
Right.
It's I mean, I don't
You got a flail.
Or a morning
flail.
Star.
Yeah, morning star. There you go.
Yeah. Isn't a flail when it's got a chain?
Yeah, just gotta make a chain and you're done. Chain and a stick.
And I think I could probably do that just by.
Can you imagine getting hit by a freaking spike steel ball on a chain?
No.
Those were the days.
One hit and it's like all the video games where it's like you get in movies, you get hit over and over again. It's like, I think in reality, one hit and
you're
lying down on a battlefield that really just got hit once.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Definitely.
Let's see if I can.
What? You could change the shape. I feel like that. How'd you make it a cube?
It's the yellow cone that will change the modifier, but then also changing your modifiers will affect the shape of that.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Monster Mash. True. Armor would help. Although I think most people had pretty crap armor back in the day, except for the general.
Sure. It would still bash your skull pretty bad, right? Like at least a concussion, right? Like, sure, I'm gonna have a helmet, but if you get
so much of the armor, or like the metal of armor back then was really, really thin, or else it'd be too heavy.
Yeah.
Right.
It still was super heavy. Like you had to have help getting it on. Like,
I love military museums. You see crazy stuff with like the old medieval military museums. Not really in the US, but in Europe, there's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm just going to mush this into that. Whoops. There we go.
And then at a certain point, you just like start sculpting, or do you just kind of go the whole way with this?
Yeah. No. I mean, at some point I would just, because at this point, I mean, making the chain I can go about just keep dragging this guy and keep, but I mean, at this point, yeah, you would, again, Paul right now is probably like, why are you not using array mesh?
If you hit this button.
He's like, you're talking about all these features, you're not using any.
yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I'm just playing with this. It's really fun, man.
Just having fun. No.
Don't have fun.
Take this thing. Let's see. I'm going to put this in.
Pretty thick chain.
I was asking Rodrigo pre-stream, but since we're doing props, what's one of your favorite or most iconic props?
I was and to that I was like, hey, I'm a big fan of the God of War series. I played it ever since the first one. and their latest one, I think it was just brilliant. The reimagining of everything, and changing the dynamic of Kratos not having his blades, and just using going to the Leviathan axe was, I mean, I fell in love with the axe immediately. So probably his axe is one. It's up there, but then I also was telling Josh that Witcher 3 is probably another one that I fell in love with that game, and I still love it. I think it's incredible. And all of Geralt's swords are super iconic, as with however, especially all the master crafted stuff, and they just really kind of nailed it, I think. And even just to make him distinct between the steel and the silver, I think it's just it was very, very cool. So I would probably go with any of those. Chain.
Geralt or Geralt. Is it Geralt or Gerald?
Geralt.
Geralt. Always mix it
not,
up with Gerald.
Not Gerald. Gerald is too much like Gerald.
That's why I'm always like, is it just Gerald with a T? No. Okay, good.
It's Gerald of Rivia.
Yeah.
Good old Gerald.
That would be a completely different show or a game.
There is a Gerald in some town of Rivia for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he took my name. God damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
All he did was put a T at the end and just.
Mm-hmm. I see somebody in chat saying Kroll's throwing star.
Oh, for sure. That thing's super cool. I so wanted one of those when I was a kid.
What else for me? I'm a massive, big RoboCop fan. RoboCop's gun, I always loved his gun, just like the extra large size of it. That was one I really dug.
Hell yeah.
Conan's sword was a big one.
Well, I was just going to say, Conan's sword. I was actually just talking with a buddy of mine about Red Sonja, because I watched the movie this past weekend, because it's one of my favorite movies since I was a kid. And I'm like, why did she pick that sword?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was just like, she had so many cool ones, and she picked that one. It's like, I don't
know if I would have picked that one, but okay.
Yeah, but I mean, the sword master was like, you picked the right sword. It's like, oh, okay, well, he's right. He's
good job.
Yeah.
Oof. I need to weld this differently. Halo Needler. That was a super iconic gun. The Needler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was definitely one that was like different than anything else that I kind of had remembered in a while. I just hated getting killed by it because it was like, you're like, okay, I'm dead. Like in 5 seconds, I'll be dead after I'll explode. Needler was OP. It was OP. If you could get a lock on somebody, for sure it was. So is this still okay? So you have multiple subtools at this point.
A lot of them I kind of stopped, but I made the top one, and then now I'm kind of working on the whatever the handle will be. And I want to be honest, I'm not looking at any reference, which is not probably the right way to go. But since we're kind of playing with the project primitive, I was like, okay, well, we'll just go with it.
Mm-hmm.
See where it takes me.
See where it goes. That's kind of what I'm doing. I have a vision of what a hammer looks like in my head, and so this is kind of.
Yeah, I'm sure mine is completely inaccurate, and someone will be like, "Why would you ever do that? That's insane."
Yeah, but you can't hold it with 2 hands.
Yeah, 3D
the grip
art,
is too small, or something.
No one's gonna use this. The other thing that obviously it's hard surface go to is the C modeler.
Oh sure, yeah,
it's incredible.
I had Paul on stream for a while, about a month or 2 ago, and he was kind of giving me a crash course of that. And there's a ton of amazing features in there.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Like it's really, really cool. And again, how powerful, these they made these tools. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Ooh, okay. Let's see.
I guess that's where I was going with, like, just, I mean, I still do a lot of hard surface in Maya, of course,
Mhm.
but for purely from a games workflow, I chose to do my hard, or started doing a lot of hard surface here in ZBrush, just because I already I can build my low poly here, and then basically create my high res inside here, and then just export my high, export my low, bake, and go through the motion of, like, making something for games. But really just not having to leave the software. I mean, I will leave it to maybe go do UVs in Maya,
Mhm.
just because I'm more used to that.
Mhm.
But
You don't really have to leave. It's kind of an interesting thing.
I really never did UVs in ZBrush,
Mhm.
so I'm not super.
You'd be powerful.
Yeah, see, I have to
So
get
fast.
to look into that a little bit, because I just
Like insane. Alex, what is that little dude walking around on your screen?
I'm just playing with Mixamo.
Oh yeah.
on.
Yeah, which is super fun. It's the dude that I made for that scene
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks ago, and then last night I was just playing to see if I hadn't tried the upload character button in Mixamo, where you can upload your own character. It's crazy. It works really well.
Yeah, as long as you're not doing anything non-bipedal,
Right.
or really complex with, like, a tail and, six
For
arms,
sure.
then it handles these kind of things, like, really, really well.
Yeah, I was surprised that it's, I mean, for something that's free,
Mhm.
it's so
Yep.
cool.
Just have it.
But
You have to have it dance or something. It's
Yeah,
it's like almost mandatory to have your character, like, just twerk or something like that. There you go.
there you go.
And it's also good because, like, some actual animations are some of the animations are actually, it'll force your character to really see if if it's breaking or not. So
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like, I mean, just as a block out point for waiting for a biped, it's definitely
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
not bad. Yeah, because I literally just exported, an FBX, imported, uploaded it here, and then it's like you just drag these little dots that say this is the elbow, this is the knee, this is the chin, and that's it. And then it's like all of a sudden it's rigged with mocap data. It's funny that, like, Adobe would have a tool that can auto rig,
Right. Yeah.
but so yeah, so I'm just browsing. Last night I let's see on my just made this little quick guy.
Yeah, that's cool.
awesome. It's so cool.
So it's like
every character I made, I run through Mixamo just for fun. Also, there is a plugin for Maya.
Mhm.
You might have to scour the internet a little bit, but you basically, if you download your character right now, just the regular T pose or its original pose, there's a plugin in Maya that it's a Mixamo plugin that you basically hit a button and it'll create a rig for you with all controls for fingers, feet, like the whole thing. It
Really?
basically, yeah, and it gives you inside Maya, you get, and then you can import the animations into Maya and tweak them further if you have to or if you want to.
But it's a Maya plugin.
It's a plugin. Yeah, it's for Maya.
Okay.
I would love to say, let me see if I can. Sorry. Let's see. Mixamo Maya in.
I'm gonna put us in this 6 up. Here we go.
Cool.
Yeah, the
Okay,
autorig
there we go.
script. Free download. All right, I found it on some site. Create CG. But if you look up Maya autorig script for, wait, is this a Mixamo?
Somebody just asked about the Ryan Church, Yannick Dussault, and Feng Zhu DVDs. Yeah, those were many moons ago. So things that are discontinued end up just off in the ether somewhere.
It's like the Disney Vault.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've got a lot of that stuff at home. Go ahead. You find it?
I think I'm not sure. Like the one I saw something on Reddit that it was like download at your own risk. I'm like, oh no, let's not click on that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they like took it down or something. Because it should have, before it was like Mixamo Maya autorig. Autorig tutorial with Mix. Oh. I mean, I downloaded years ago, so obviously I still have it. But it may be something that I may have to
I'll
share.
look around and see if I can find it.
But it is really helpful, and it does work really well. The only thing that I had sometimes an issue is I think it is dependent on the scale of your scene or something. Just because it sometimes makes the controls, at least for me, it made the controls like huge.
Yeah.
That's always super annoying when it's like such a massive thing.
Yeah, it was sometimes hard to like pick which finger, but you do have everything kind of laid out very, very easy. And the further workflow is I usually take a character, I rig it in Maya, get the rig, the Mixamo rig in there, or you can just download it directly and you can upload the character into Unreal, which will then there's a plugin for Unreal also. I think it's like $30 something. You can buy it on the Unreal Marketplace. That converts the Mixamo skeleton into the Unreal skeleton. And the difference is just the Mixamo skeleton does not have a root joint. It kind of starts at the hip. So it will add everything for you, and it will also it will allow you to convert the Unreal animations onto the Mixamo skeleton or vice versa. It's just crazy. So you basically can just trial and error your characters really quickly just by doing that.
Awesome.
Lots of different tools and fun little things to play with, for sure.
I'm playing around with the Boolean. The live Boolean features are so good with this too. Once you start making like a shape, pretty cool, because then you can like, I've made like the hammer shape, which is kind of like what we have on this side. And then I started adding some live Booleans and kind of turned into this like mech side over here. So it's got like this pattern in it. And I like this thing. I had no idea what I was going to make when I started, but it feels very like exploratory of like, yeah, just
it really is.
Something.
I just, it's just fun to play with.
Yeah.
Wherever it takes you, I don't know what this is, but it's some very spiky, dangerous weapon that nobody should use.
Yeah, no, super dangerous.
Super dangerous.
No, I think I need to get one.
Just have it in the trunk of your car.
Yeah, there you go.
I've got a lot of weapons, I have to say, but I don't have one of those.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
I don't know where this is taking.
Yeah, I was in Madrid years ago, and there's a like arms and armor store there, kind of in the center. And I was there and just sort of walking along, and all of a sudden saw that store, 2 floors of like suits of armor, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my jaw was on the floor for like 2 minutes, just like couldn't believe it was real. And I just didn't want to leave. I have 2. I think I have 1 mace at home that I got there. Yeah, would never find a store like that in LA.
No.
It's like I remember the Tim Burton Batman when he has like that sort of armor room.
Yeah.
That scene was just like, oh, wish I could have a room like that.
I'm doing the same thing using just live booleans too. Live booleans is just incredible.
It's so powerful. It's so cool. Somebody's asking, am I going to end up like Thor's Ultimate's hammer? That is not intentional, but it definitely has a very Thor Ultimate MCU Stormbreaker vibe. Yes. I'm into it. I'm cool with that. I don't have any issues with that.
Maz dude, Ryan Church is still mentioned the about page. Ryan may still have a title in the library, but if he doesn't, then he should be removed from the about page. Let me see. Online workshop. Browse by instructor Ryan Church. Yeah, you're right. So we do every year, we go through the library and remove titles based on a lot of different factors. And so one of Ryan's titles might have been removed fairly recently. And so now he doesn't have any. It'd be awesome to get Ryan to do more. It's been a while. I think Ryan did his titles like 10 years ago plus. Ryan has the record for doing titles. He did 5 titles in 2 weekends.
What? How?
Thanks.
He can do a finished production painting in 2 hours, and he can do it while talking. And so basically, he was just like, every artist wanted to do a voiceover, and Ryan was like, "Oh, I don't need to do a voiceover. I'll just talk while I paint." And it's like, "So you're going to
do it live
2 hours?" And he's like, "Mm-hmm." And so yeah, he just banged out 5 paintings and 5 titles in 2 weekends. It was just like, what?
Insane.
You're like, well, all right then.
Yeah, it was really impressive. Yeah, that's back when the workshop was running out of my house long ago. Like doorbell rang, and Scott Robertson was bringing Ryan over, and I opened the door, and it was his girlfriend was at the door, and I was like, I know you. And I went to Art Center with his girlfriend. It was really weird. It's like, this is a small world. But yeah, Ryan is so talented. And of course, now this work is insane looking.
Yeah.
But thanks for pointing that out, Maz. I'll make sure they update the about page. Tracy, that was her name. I was blanking.
I got to figure out what I'm going to do for this detail on the side here. I like that handle. It looks like it'd be really hard to hold it. Like it would cut your hand.
Incredibly uncomfortable. It's just horribly uncomfortable.
It's better to be uncomfortable and not slip out of your hand.
Right.
Sure, yeah.
It's like, I don't know what's worse is like whoever uses it just grabs it by the chain and hits you with anything that's moving. I don't know. I'm trying to decide what I want to do with this, and it's not. Just kind of one of the rivets.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Do you guys know anything about those Rococo motion capture suits?
I've seen ads for them.
Yep.
But
Same.
that's about it.
Yeah, I'm so curious about those. I know Max was talking about them in a meeting
Mm-hmm.
like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, a while ago. They seem cool.
Yeah, it just seems like that would be a lot of fun to have.
Mm-hmm. There's a hole in it. Oh, that's why. Because there's another one. Primitive is awesome, or even the blue is playing with this. It's like it is kind of hard to get your head around it. What is this button doing? What is
Yeah.
this?
And again, it's the kind of thing that you want to kind of combine with, other things, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
see what each one kind of gives you. I also think I broke symmetry to shit. So, whoops, sorry.
Let's see. This is cool. There it is.
Yeah, I
Piece.
may abort this one.
I'll do a couple, whatever.
Yeah, I definitely. Oh. So why?
Well, apparently we're both wearing gray hats.
Yeah.
So
we actually asked each other to see what color hats we had, and they were like, let's just go with it. Gray's the one.
work.
Oh, that's why. There we go. Ooh.
I mean, this is just so fast of how quickly you can iterate on them. Like, I think you can make a whole these like pretty quickly in like a day to like, block out for like a game or for just a liate, or like there's so much you could do here.
Yeah, I think that's one part that I love. This is just the even just for the sake of prototyping or
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is going to break, isn't it?
That was a good sign. Oh, this is gonna break it. Uh-oh. Hang on. Wait.
Nope, should have not done that. Yeah, I just broke symmetry completely. So I think if I mirror and weld, it's so
is it
like
gone?
wonky right now that it'll just I do.
Did you save?
No.
We need our chat reminders to save.
Yeah.
Definitely had those moments where you're like, well, crap. Okay. I guess I'll find it. I'll just make it again, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think just because I was using symmetry in the project primitive in such an odd fashion that I broke it like pretty much everywhere else.
Right.
So groovy. But as long as you keep your polygroups, you can do all kinds of cool things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dense. This is a very dense cone right there. All right, let's
So Rodrigo, what got you into or knowing you wanted to do like CG art?
I was kind of always into just drawing and obviously comic books and movies and just characters and stuff. So oddly enough, it took going to Golden Apple, the comic book off of Melrose.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I went in there once and I asked the guy over there, it's like, hey, do you know any drawing schools? And he looked at me like, dude, are you lost? Like, what's wrong with you?
Why are you here? This is a comic book store. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you're crazy. And I was like, I'm looking for a place where I can just go learn to draw and stuff like that. He's like, well, I don't know if they teach drawing, but I know there's a school like nearby. And obviously he mentioned Gnomon.
Mm-hmm.
So I went over and I talked to Clark,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just he was like, yeah, man, like just he's like, why don't you try, like, have you ever tried 3D? And I was like, what?
What are
So,
you
yeah, it's
talking
like,
about?
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And he showed me, obviously, the work from students and all that kind of stuff, and just lost my mind. It's like, whoa, you can do this? This is crazy. So after that, it was just a matter of just kind of joining in. I took, actually, no, what am I saying? I'm just jumping ahead. I took first Intro to Maya
Mhm.
with Eric Keller
Cool.
as an extension student, and that one blew my mind, man, because Eric is a just
Sure.
outstanding
Yeah.
teacher. And he was super fun.
He just did a stream on Monday. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like his all the insects he does and all that kind of stuff. It's just mind-boggling, man. Like the level of detail and just, it's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I did that, and then I took digital sculpting with Eric as well. Like, I think like however many months after, and at that point I'm like, I'm sold. This is insane. Like, I have to do the program.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it was just kind of going for it.
Very cool.
And then in there, it was more of like, oh man, like they make games like this. Like,
Sure.
what is going on? It was just too cool.
Were you a big gamer before you went to school?
Yeah, I've my
You said God of War earlier, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, my first console was an Atari, so I can tell you,
Me
Mhm.
too. 2600.
Yeah. What's the? Oh, I don't remember. Like, I think it was the one with like the controller is like a black box with the red button and the stick.
Yeah, that's
So,
2600.
yeah,
That's the
I
OG.
remember like getting calluses in the palms of my hand playing some Olympic games, because you have to like move the stick so fast for the little dude to run.
Yeah.
It was brutal, man. It was absolutely brutal, but it blew my mind that that like those things existed. It was like, holy crap, I can play these games. Like, this is crazy cool. And then obviously, from there on out, it was like, Nintendo.
Sure.
And then after that, it was just, pretty much downhill from there, man. Like, whatever. I think the first time I played the first Diablo game.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like Diablo 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And even in Warcraft 2, I think. Oh, I lost it, man. I was like, what?
Oh yeah, Warcraft 2 is awesome.
Warcraft 2 is so good.
So good.
I think it's very underrated. Like, I think a lot of people don't really think about it anymore because they think about Warcraft 3 and Frozen Throne and.
Yeah, and they're older games, so I was like, well, what? There was a Warcraft 2?
Right.
Yeah, there was a Warcraft 1.
That's why it was the third one that you played. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just, I love that game, man, like so much. But Diablo 1, that one was kind of like my and I couldn't stop playing. I remember my mom going like, "Hey, you should go out with your friends." I'm like, "Why?"
Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not doing that.
I have no reason to do that. Like, did you see this game? It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going into the depths of hell to fight just zombies and shit. It's crazy cool. Yeah. All right. I'm going to make this happen now. Oh.
Mesh viewing, where it can see through the mesh.
Well, the other thing you can also do is like with the purple arrow. If you tell it to do like to make a new surface, it'll stop kind of try to attaching it, and it'll make its own object as well. That way, if you don't want to, like, deal with that. And again, like I was saying before, like a lot of the settings right now that are going on in all the cones in my screen, you can reset them. You can just do a reset or a full reset, and then just kind of start the tool from scratch if needed. But in this particular case, I just don't want this cone anymore.
Yeah, this is a really odd thing. What is this? Maybe these need to go above. Definitely gonna save and reboot this thing because getting one of those errors where you're like, this doesn't look normal.
Yep, that. It's time to save and start over.
Initialize. Ugh. Have you guys been watching any Oscar nom movies? We just watched Minari last night. I thought it was really, really good.
Minari?
Yeah, it's got Glenn from Walking Dead in it, I guess would be the easiest way to describe it. But it's a drama, but it's really good.
Okay.
And then we started watching Mank. I'm not all the way through Mank yet, but it's also quite good.
No, I'm looking forward to Kong versus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, did
Friday,
you see Jared's post? The Jared Kruchevsky?
Oh, his
not getting credit.
Oh yeah, that's a bummer.
That
What?
sucks.
Yeah, he worked on the film, but he didn't get credit.
Yeah, he's been posting about it for days because he was so excited because he did a lot of stuff for the movie, and and then finally saw it, and his name's not in the credits, so he's bombed.
Yeah,
that is not right.
Yeah, I agree.
I bet you craft services is in there.
Well, yeah, that's probably true.
Yikes!
All right, Rodrigo, have you ever seen this error? So I did these live booleans, right? And it's looking kind of neat. But there's this hole
where you see
through the object.
That's weird.
It's also in here. I can see down into the mesh.
What?
I'm saying, keep turning these things off. It's something to do with this live boolean.
I think I had a similar issue, but
I guess there's a hole.
Out,
maybe because there's a hole. What if I just dynamesh this thing? It's like seeing through it, and it can't like justify what's going on. Oh, I guess I just needed to fill it.
I mean, try maybe if you want to keep the thing like without dynameshing, do a close holes and see if.
Yeah, I'll just crank this.
If it might explode, and
just do it this way. There we go.
You just have to
cross your fingers.
Yeah. All right, I am.
There we go. Found it.
Nope. Array mesh. I'm gonna do it, Paul. I'm gonna do array mesh.
For you, Paul.
Yeah, because you don't get angry at me. I can hear you yelling at me.
Yeah.
Like, why are you not doing that?
Yeah, that sounds about right. End this thing.
Now the one part.
Also, folders was a huge addition. Sorry, what did you say?
Oh, folders are amazing.
Yeah.
And I think you can do booleans between folders.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it's just too cool, man. There. Chain.
Oh, you did it.
Yay.
Arrayed
mesh. Paul can sleep tonight. He's going to be like, thank God. It's crazy. It's like sometimes, a lot of the times, to be honest with you, I forget because there's so many incredibly useful features
Hmm.
that I do forget how to use them. I'm like, oh, what? You could, oh, that's right. And then, then just when they come back, you're like, oh, why wasn't I using that? It's just ridiculous. But live and learn.
Start sculpting on mine. I think I got a good base.
Yeah, I kind of want to get to that point too. I'm like, okay, I played with this too much. Nobody wants to see me like noodle with these things anymore.
Play with. Oh, Alex, I see you're setting up a little scene there.
Yeah, I got this little dude walking. So now he's just going to be in a little scene. We'll see where it goes.
Turn this thing up. Can you tell us what hardware we're using? I don't remember what I'm using. Alex, you probably know your box better than I do.
I'm using an Alienware Area 51 that is about 5 years old with a 2080 Ti in it.
There you go.
Nice.
Time for an upgrade, but everything's out of stock everywhere right now. So
Right, yeah. It looks like I'm using an i9 64 gigs, and I think I have a, let's see, display 2080 Ti as well.
Dang, you guys have the cool graphics cards. I have a 1080.
Max just got a 3090. He ordered it 3 months ago.
What?
Ooh,
Yeah.
long time to wait, but
At the hookups.
I'm sure it's cool.
Yeah, I need to get a new computer though, just because I'm having RAM issues with this one.
Sure.
What bummer with the Area 51s is they can only have 32 gigs of RAM, which that image I was working on last week,
Mhm.
I was just doing like a 4K 32-bit comp in Photoshop that had just like a million passes in it, and Photoshop was not happy.
It was like,
You
no, not
cannot
today.
upgrade it? Or just...
You can't yeah, the system won't support more than 32 gigs of RAM.
Whoa.
And so I think, because I'm close, because I was just looking, just looking at what was going on in Task Manager, like I was short about 5 to 10 gigs, and so it was swapping like crazy.
I need a bottom of this thing.
But it's funny, it's like back in the day when things were a lot slower, I couldn't wait to upgrade my computer like as often as possible. And now things are so much faster that it's just less of a, like I'm fine working on this computer. It's just this RAM thing, which I can still work around.
Yeah, it's still not like, game breaking for you. Like you can still work.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the whole thing that made the difference is being able to swap your GPU. So back in the day when it was all CPU based, then you basically had to get a new computer.
Right. That's not really the case anymore. So it's heavily GPU based. Almost so many programs are. I think we were talking about this. We've talked about this before, but ZBrush is one of the few that isn't GPU. It's only CPU, I think, except for like a couple features or something like that.
Just some weird voodoo.
Yeah, I don't know how that's even possible, but cool. Yeah. All right. This thing, like it's like a stone.
All right. Now I have it, symmetry and all that stuff. Phew.
Feel like you're in a better spot now with that?
You know, a little bit happier. Just trying to get.
Have a question from YouTube. Any of you guys tried using the space mouse? I have never used the space mouse ever, actually.
Space
Either.
mouse.
Isn't that like the thing that like floats around?
Mm-hmm. It's like a little
Oh.
puck, but I guess ZBrush supports it. So I think, who was it? I want to say it was Spider Lee, but I don't know if it was him. I feel like, or Geo, some big sculptor person was on Facebook talking it up recently, saying it was really cool.
Cool.
No idea.
I mean, to be able to sculpt something while rotate with your right hand while rotating it with your left hand would obviously feel much more natural, like real
Right.
world.
Yeah.
So that seems like that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely seems like it could be cool.
I gotta stop noodling on the create primitive and just started banging this thing up.
Using the mallet brush. The last time I used the mallet brush was.
Trim smooth border is actually.
Oh yeah.
I like
You
the mallet
that?
brush, but sometimes like it just, kind of goes in too much, too deep.
I think I'm gonna go for this like worn edge here. Let's see what this thing does. Break the symmetry up.
I use this one quite a bit to make rocks.
You do?
Yeah.
The trim smooth borders one?
Yeah, trim smooth borders with like a square alpha, or even just no alpha.
All right.
Or if you have a good like height map,
Mhm.
with a good like height map, that just chips away like crazy, and it gets really good results. I mean,
Like I've kind of got this like stylized space hammer.
yeah.
That's what I'm going for. Space hammer.
Space hammer. I think I just went with the most traditional mace ever built by mankind.
The OG mace, yeah.
Classic spike ball with a stick. Hey man.
It goes back to like very zombie. Like when you look at zombie apocalypse movies, it's always like bat with nails in it.
Yeah, I feel like I have to put some, like exactly some nails on it, and then that's it. That really sells it.
So you know it's homemade.
I love props that look like crafted in a garage. Like I love that stuff.
So follow-up question. Zombie apocalypse happens. Where do you go?
Costco.
Costco for food?
Yeah.
Everybody's going to Costco though.
There's a really bad joke. I was going to tell a really bad joke. I'm not going to do it.
Okay, good.
He's not going to do it. It's because you need a membership to get in, so zombies can't get in.
Well, yeah, but those
It was a really bad joke. I told you. I prefaced it by saying it was a really bad joke.
People at the door never check those cards.
Yeah.
Hold out anything.
I mean, I would go anywhere that has supplies for sure.
I'm going to Home Depot. There's so many weapons that you could create.
Every power tool.
Yeah, every tool, batteries, and they usually have somebody selling hot dogs. So
yeah,
I'll be good for a little bit.
Now I'll tell you what, like I love power tools, like their designs.
Yeah, they're great.
They are the most sci-fi things like that exist. Just every time I go there, I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. It's just, always take photos of some if just
Mm-hmm.
they just come with some really nifty designs, and it's a jigsaw, but it's rad.
Right. Yeah. Let's see what we got in the chat. Somebody says they had you as a lab monitor when you were at Gnomon.
Who?
J.D. Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
I force them to watch the worst movies.
That's one of the best things to do as a lab monitor is
Yeah.
impose your choice of movies.
They're like, no, we don't want to watch this. Like, you have no power.
You have no power here. So,
And,
what was
I would play
one of your movies? Yeah.
Talladega Nights.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's not a movie I would want to watch more than a couple times, but
No, or Hot Rod, which very fun.
okay, sure. Yeah, the Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
Before he got like much bigger than he like before his show 911 or whatever.
Yeah.
I never saw that.
Heard it's really good. I've actually never seen it myself, but
It's pretty
a lot
funny.
of people talk about it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's like Parks and Rec, but in a police station.
Right. Big fan of Parks.
I know
and Rec,
they just
though.
have that. They have that heartwarming feel. Like the kind of humor.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely teared up multiple times during Parks and Rec. Like,
God, yes.
whenever I see Ron Swanson like have feelings, I'm like, oh no, feel a tear welling up in my eye. Like,
If this guy can feel, so can I.
exactly. I got some questions about the sensor behind you, Alex.
The sorry, I've got an OB6. I've got a stage 3, so Nord, and they're both pretty awesome. So the Nord is really cool because it's got a sampler engine, so it's got amazing piano sounds in it. And then the OB6 is Dave Smith Instruments DSI, and it's really good for like get some good 80s synth sounds out of it.
On. Love me some
Little
synthwave.
space echo pedal, which is pretty cool. That's connected to the OB6, but I don't think you guys hear that.
Oh yeah.
We do.
Really?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
heard that.
Oh, so my system audio is going straight through to you guys?
We hear it. I hear that.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, see when we were talking about background music, there it is.
Yeah, we're ready.
We're ready.
Oh God, nope.
It's synthwave time. Let's see
Not
that.
ready for your live debut.
Let's see, I can turn that on. Turn
Music
that
of the-
on.
Yeah,
turn
there you
on
go.
Creator. Let's see, what do we get if I push something here? That's all you get.
Sounded awesome.
Yeah, he's definitely picking it up. I don't know if it's system audio, but it was definitely coming through.
Don't mind me dancing.
Leftover time for video games. Sometimes. We were talking about that also recently.
Mhm.
Goes in waves for me. Some years not at all, and some years I manage to fit in a couple games. What about you, Rodrigo?
I mean, I try to obviously, but I get sucked into games that take way too much time.
Mhm.
Like I haven't played anything recently other than AC Valhalla.
Mhm.
And the problem with those, I love those games. Like third-person open world games are my jam, right? Like my go-tos. But they keep getting larger and larger, and they do require a chunk of time. And the problem is that every time I play them, I don't do the main storyline. Like I see some tree and a rock in the distance. I'm like, ooh, that looks like fun. Let's go do that. And
Yeah.
it's nothing, but I end up spending so much time just roaming around aimlessly. Just because they're beautiful too. They're like gorgeous games. They're getting more and more realistic, and just the quality is just incredible.
You
So
go explore it, and yeah.
yeah, like I Legend, the Breath of the Wild, like the
Beautiful game.
oh my god, it's amazing. But I always say the same thing. Like I think in my game, Zelda died because I never go and finish the game, and at this point, she's like, okay, this guy's never coming back, man. Like just end this.
Just get it over with.
Yeah, just kill me now. But whenever I can definitely time, but it's tough, man. Like life always gets a little bit in the way.
That's why I got into playing more games on my phone, or like quick, shorter time commitment games. So like I played a lot of Hearthstone, the Blizzard card game, and I played a lot of that. And then recently I've been playing Loop Hero, which is like a roguelike.
Oh, I heard it's really good.
Sort of indie game. It's really fun, but it's one of those games where you don't have to play for too long. But it is also fun enough that it will suck you in to where you will play for too long. So you kind of have to be careful with your time commitment there. But it's really fun. I enjoy it quite a bit. Has working on games changed the way that you look at games?
Yes, 100%.
What are things that you notice?
I don't complain as much because I know what goes into.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like it's a lot and it's stressful. I mean, I'm sure everyone has read crazy stories about people working crazy hours
Crunch and
and that kind of stuff. Like it's super taxing, and I have a lot of respect now for that kind of stuff. Like I don't.
You can like see the quality, like you see the commitment and the dedication that it took to make something. And I remember like before I started working in games or even in film or going to Gnomon, it was like, I can't believe they did this. Like that was a dumb choice, or why would you do that? And now I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Like,
exactly.
I see why you would have done that.
I don't like if they did it. It's like awesome, and I try to enjoy them as much as I can. And there's going to be, there's always going to be problems, and, it's a game, right? Like it takes a lot of hours and just things happen and problems happen. It's totally fine. Like so I guess, it definitely changed that in the sense that I do try to have a lot more respect. I mean, I get angry sometimes, like, God damn it, it crashed. It's like, oh, shit. It's,
Yeah, I get that. Like one decal run on here. Nailed it. I think I'm feeling pretty good about this thing.
I love it, man. That's cool. Jeez.
I have no
My
idea.
mace is ashamed. It's like, oh man, I'm just a simple mace.
Yours is definitely like going into like like Valhalla or some Arc or Rust. Like that's where
they're going to use it to hold a door or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Going to be like, hey, this one didn't cut it really.
Still works though. Hey. I wouldn't necessarily.
Someone's skull is getting smashed.
Yeah, I mean, like of the two weapons in real life, I would be more afraid of yours because mine would look like it was cosplay. So be like that one could be dangerous.
Made out of foam.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna put something in the middle of this thing. Might make a sword or something after this. That little that project primitive thing is really cool.
I love it, man. I love it.
Still don't entirely know what I was doing, so I want to try it again to make sure I kind of understand it. But
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that I think it takes just a little bit of playing with, and getting used to, again, all the different cones and what each thing does, and the modifiers, and whether you want to keep the surface or make a new surface, but once all that kind of sinks in, then it is just incredible.
yeah, big fan. Big fan.
Glad that you enjoy it. It is very fun. Like, I spent so much time making, like, when the cloth dynamics thing came out, I was just making pillows for fun. Like different kinds of pillows. It's like, I'm gonna.
I can make this kind of pillow now. Yeah.
Yeah. When I look at my couch, it's like, okay, I'm gonna try to reproduce this pillow, and I like literally just take it through like the game pipeline where I would just make a low poly model and then bake it and texture it in substance. So I have a few pillows there laying around.
Nice.
For no reason other than just using the dynamic thing in ZBrush.
I was I think it was 2-3 streams ago when we were on with Brian. I really like it for creaturey folds. Like you can do some kind of fun creature skin with some of those curve, like pull or tug or whatever they are brushes. Those are really, really cool to just kind of move things around with.
I mean, with the other one, like the thick skin and all that stuff, you saw Jared's like stuff it's just a blast, man. Like that
totally,
stuff is so fun.
That's a perfect tie, and I'll show you some of the stuff I've been working on here in a second. I had Jared on the stream early in January, and we made a couple pieces together. So he did like his siren one, like the screaming one, and so I did a piece as well, and I ended up 3D printing it. We were talking about 3D printing pre-stream.
I saw the print.
Printers back. I don't ever can see which direction I'm pointing. This way. There's a 3D printer behind me, so I'll show you some of the stuff I've been working on there real quick after I save this mall.
Oh yeah, that's true. Save
the stream, so it looks like a better preview for now.
Stephen Tills. Stephen McClure and Eric Miller are still at Gnomon. Chris Eckert, I don't think he's taught at Gnomon for a little while. I think he got too busy in production.
Yeah. Whoa. Couple pieces here. Ended up priming this little guy, and I have another one that I did here. So I've been playing around with this Anycubic, and I'm going to steal the screen from y'all real quick, just so we can get maximized viewage. But this is the 3D print that I did with Jared.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I kind of welded some of those pieces together to make it all work, but it balances pretty nicely, and it looks, it's not very big, like it's pretty tiny.
No, it looks great. I mean, even from here you can tell
it works really well.
happening.
And then I made that several streams ago. I was making this robot, and so I ended up, this is a super tiny one, but it's gonna be all shaky too, but you can kind of see this. Get it?
Yeah.
Rad. Man, that has a lot of detail.
So cool. I know, it's amazing.
It's fascinating.
So I did that one, and then I printed this head that I did with. This is a head I did a couple streams ago with Jay Hill. So printed out this one, trying out some different primers and stuff like that, and then I printed out. Been working on, or I did an IG88 a long time ago, and so I printed off this guy here.
That's insane. That's so
Very
crazy.
Oh my god,
dude! Wow. I can't believe how big it is.
Yeah, it's huge. This is 2 prints, so I made it so that see if the head comes off still. You can see it's wiggling, but I made it so that there's kind of like keys there, so you can see that they pop on, which means you can also like change the orientation of his head.
Wow.
So yeah, it's huge. I just kind of blasted it with like a shiny spray paint, but there's some errors in it, but overall it holds up really, really well. And it's just 2 prints.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's crazy. Like
So
that,
I'll probably do like
detail.
the shoulders. He has like a shoulder and like a gun that he's holding. I don't get those printed, but yeah, pretty happy with that one.
That's so cool. I mean, just I think for a sub $1,000 printer.
Oh yeah, and I think the total resin cost for this was like $8.
Really?
Like yeah, because I'm using a water. I switched to a water washable one. I'll show you the one that I ended up using, which appears to be potentially leaking. There's still like a hole in this thing, so that's fun. There's like inside of this, you can see it's still kind of wet, but it's like,
whoa,
there's like a little bit of resin that's slowly leaking out. So I have it resting up here, but I switched to this this water washable one, which is it smells so much better. First off, when you're printing it, and then it's so much easier to clean up because you don't have to worry about dipping it into alcohol. You don't have to worry about all that fun stuff of what you're doing with the whole cleanup process is shockingly messy. So it kind of gets harder when you start adding other like chemicals, and it just gets very harsh. But the water washable stuff, which is what the IG-88 was printed on, was the details still really good. And it's just a lot easier to use, and just generally good. So there's still a couple other ones I'm going to play around with, but that was also not a very long print. I did it overnight, and I put both of them on the bed at the same time. So the body and the head were printed at the same time, and it only took like 9 hours. So in 9 hours, like a pretty solidly sized pieces, which I feel good about. So definitely fun.
That is crazy, man.
It's really cool.
It's just crazy. Like the level of quality that they get is just incredible, man.
I'm going to take this. I'm going to make a sword. Right. Oh, I see you putting a little skull on there. A detail. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna have a couple heads on there. The mini face.
That is not what I wanted to
do. Hey, go for it though. Why not? All right. Now I'm trying to like deconstruct what I did. Like, how would I start if I knew what I wanted? Okay.
I think I was thinking about that, and it's the kind of thing that is just definitely analyzing whatever your concept maybe is, and then breaking it into those shapes and seeing what those shapes are, and then from there using maybe the project primitive to, if that's something that
sure
you would want to use. No, that's not. This is not what I did. I also never remember how the IMM works when it comes to like placing brushes, like the direction that it needs to face. So I'm just going to wing it. Hope for the best.
I think I was doing this.
Yep.
Something with the bounding box needs to be bigger. Blend.
Well, that worked. Haha.
Okay.
I just love how the polygroups actually look with that metallic thing.
Yeah, that's cool. What are most of the projects you've worked on, like the engine? Are they usually in Unreal? I heard you were saying Unreal earlier. Unreal most of the time.
Yep. We had one project, Electronauts. I did not work on that one, but that one was the only studio project that was done in Unity. Other than that, mostly everything has been done in Unreal.
Got it.
I love it too. Like they're, what Unreal has achieved for just game engines is just incredible, man.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Yeah, it's shocking. I mean,
And I think a lot of the worlds are starting to, kind of merge a little bit more when it comes to, I mean, obviously still, game engines don't render what, something like V-Ray or things like that would, but
mm-hmm.
there's slowly, I think that gap is like narrowing a little bit. I think real time is allowing more and more for crazy things like that to happen. Ooh, their teeth got wrecked. Sorry, skull.
Definitely what you kind of like, even in the VFX world, people wanting more real time. And that's, I think, Alex, you talked about it before, but like Redshift just being was one of the big ones that kind of came out to make things at least feel or appear more real time.
I mean, Octane, Redshift, GPU thing. I think Octane maybe was before Redshift, but yeah, anything that saves you time. And it's like, I think obviously V-Ray and Arnold now have GPU acceleration as well, but so it seems like it's across the board, just since the technological advancement of GPUs compared to CPUs. CPUs seem to have just like hit a wall. But since game engines rely on the GPU, all of that, advancement that we've seen with GPUs has just gone straight into what we're seeing in games. And so Unreal's been able to leverage all of that horsepower, to create all these amazing features.
They had this also, they released it. I mean, I don't think it's not released yet, but they had that MetaHuman plugin.
Oh yeah,
basically, good. It's just incredible, man. Like the quad is just pretty ridiculous.
it crashed. I knew it was going to happen at some point. I saved plenty of times. So before I got into that next piece, I was like,
save.
I'm saving 30 times over the same file name just to make sure I did.
So now I'm going to try the project primitive on the skulls as well. So
oh yeah,
at this point, it's just throwing everything into everything and see, what comes out.
You gotta.
Right. There you are.
Trying to see. So are you adding the little diamonds? Oh, all right. I see what you're doing there.
Yeah, I'm trying to get them to line up, and then see, I had it for to create a new surface, so I'm just setting it to basically cut into and do some stuff. I don't even know what this is.
Yeah, it's working.
It's a hole in the skull.
That's where you put like gems.
Exactly.
Nothing more fitting to go in like a diamond shaped hole than a gem. I think the only thing I'm confused about with this thing is the bounding box. That's this thing that's I'm still.
I think it takes, whatever. It's taking like your object.
Yeah.
So it takes the bounding box of your object and then the bounding box of the object that it's projecting, or the other one. So
together.
If you make your one thing, if you make it super huge, then you're going to have to go fish some of the controls really kind of far out there.
Yeah.
Well, now I feel like all that cool detail is like insignificant compared to this.
Just wait for the close-up renders. Detail renders are going to be great.
What goes in there?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The big gem.
Well, I feel like I may have chosen the easiest thing because it seems like a mallet is like the easy thing to possibly make here.
I don't know.
Like, oh, look at this, another one. Just what I guess, I don't know.
Hey, man.
I always loved characters that had hammers. Like a character that had a hammer in like a fantasy thing. Always. That was my dude. Even whenever I play games now, I always try to go. I'm always the hammer guy.
Okay.
Okay, so I rotated this thing around. I feel like I need to. Squash it. Oh, okay.
Oh, nope.
Almost an element of like I feel like I am having to forge this thing. I'm taking this piece, I'm crafting a new shape out of it. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I made like my cylinder too big, I think, and now I can't seem to like. I guess I could cut into it though. That could work. We were talking about Space Mouse earlier. Are we using a mouse or a Wacom tablet when sculpting or modeling? I use a mouse and a tablet depending on the time or of the day or whatever. I'm using a mouse right now during what I'm doing here. And then if I get into like detail sculpting or more form-based sculpting where I'm not moving around manipulators, I'll use a tablet.
Yeah, same. Tablet most of the times.
Yeah, most of the time I think I use a tablet. Let's see. Oh, how to get this thing make the shape I want. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, okay. Now we're talking. What does this do? Oh, the tessellate. Okay.
The other part that I like is like, if you add things as a separate,
Mm-hmm.
then you have like the whole shape in it. It's not really kind of welding it with the other stuff. So then, if you have something that you like, you just, and because again, it's great by making new poly groups. Then, you just have access to splitting it or doing whatever kind of other nifty thing you like. I just kind of shot myself in the foot with this one, but whatever.
With the diamond you're trying to make? Or the...
Yeah. It's not. And I mean, I'll try my luck here with radial symmetry, but I'm going to do it the really hard way.
Oh, that's...
Give
yourself a challenge.
And I think maybe, they should be in.
Just keep this thing. Accidentally made a top of a spear. So I'm going to cut the top of the spear off, I think, and keep that.
See, that's a weapon that I love in some games. If you can, like in Zelda, for example, I love using spears.
Oh, really?
So fun, yeah.
Oh, why is spear your favorite? Is it just because of like the style, the range?
Yeah,
or?
Yeah, range for sure. Like I was telling you before, I usually go for ranged characters. Like I'll play something with a bow or. But I do like spears, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Just using a ton of spears whenever I could. Let's see how the other ones. Okay, they're all right.
If this is my new base.
Ooh, it's getting wobbly.
Okay.
I think I was telling you too, like that character for Damon's class. Like, it's the first thing that I did. I mean, I started laying out the character and kind of like the basics for the character, like the main shape and stuff. But the first things I finished were his props, like his shield and spear, like out of the gates. And I was telling you, it's like I finished them like to completion, like they were textured and everything.
Right.
Before I even touched the character. And Damon was like, leave it to an environment artist to just finish his props first, and then I was like, I can't help it, man.
I just have to. This is turning into a Power Ranger style sword, I think. I'm okay with it. Really sharp though, is it? A wood sword.
Yay, this is the primary color mallet. Whoops.
Oh, you're going for like the Thanos gems.
Yeah,
why not?
The Infinity Mace.
Someone's asking, has anyone tested the new Maya VR stuff that Autodesk recently released? Wonder if you can see your scene instead of creating in VR. I have not.
Me neither.
Yeah, I just watched that video on Autodesk's YouTube channel just 2 days ago. Looks cool. I mean, obviously, it's a clearer response to the other VR sketching tools that exist. So since it's new, I don't know if it's going to necessarily be any better, but It had some cool curve and surfacing tools.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's like we just got 2022 put on the server this morning, just so you know.
We'll have to play with it.
Because 2021 clearly wasn't necessary.
It's like replaceable. Like, well, I guess we didn't need that, or did we?
Freaking weirdos.
Yeah.
It's like how many meetings occurred to have that decision?
Right.
I just never understood that. It's like, are you really trying to fool us into thinking that this is technology from the future? There is some cool stuff in 2022, though.
What's the cool stuff you've seen so far? I mean, obviously, it sounds like there's VR stuff, but
a lot of cool rigging things. So, yeah. So it's, but I haven't, used it. I haven't installed it yet. But the presentation they gave, well, there's USD, which is a huge integration into Maya now, and so that's available, which is looks like was developed in conjunction with Pixar and Luma and Animal Logic and a bunch of other studios. So it looks pretty impressive. And then so there was a big chunk of the talk was about the USD integration, and then but then the second half of the talk was rigging, which was cool to see a lot of new rigging tools. So yeah, just tools that'll allow you to have sort of like topologically independent rigging. So you can change your model and not screw up the rig, which is cool.
Yeah, super cool. This thing. Hidden this. Handle in here. Yeah, Rodrigo, I think you're right. This is one of those tools where you're like the Christmas analogy you made earlier. Okay, this is cool. Like there's a lot of cool features every time they do something, but this is one where I'm like, yeah, I'll play with this a lot.
Yeah, like I just had a blast. Like I still have a blast. Like it's always so like, and a lot of it's like feels very experimental, but it's still like even with that, I just love the ability to that it allows you to just iterate so quickly and.
It's 3D jazz. You're just kind of making stuff. You like that one?
I don't know how I feel about that.
That's what I thought you were going to say, yeah. Everybody's got to make a bad joke over here and there, yeah.
I got my quote with the Costco one.
Right, yeah. I'm good there. Yeah.
Nope.
Almost saved over an old file. They always so did Maya skip a version, like an iteration? Like entirely?
Yeah, it went from 2020 to 2022. So something having to do with like 3ds Max was already at 2022.
Okay.
And so because of that, they wanted them to be aligned. But it's like, well, then change Max to 2021. It's just strange to me to have the version be the year we're not in, but that's my opinion. Which
They're like car models from now on. Always the future.
Will they ever? I mean, I don't know because I haven't used it in a while. But will they ever like update Mudbox? Or is it one that kind of fell through the cracks and just kind of left them? Because
I think they left that one a long time ago.
it's kind of sad, man. Like it was such a great like texturing tool. Honestly, it was just some things that were just fascinating.
It is more of a texture tool from what I saw people starting to use it as. There's still some people that would use it as a sculpting tool, but not too many. I saw a lot of people in production that use it as a texture tool for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I am not sure what I want to do with this thing.
Question: is it possible nowadays to create movies and games at home?
Yep.
I mean, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of indie game developers out there making games at home.
Oh yeah.
And there's definitely a lot of filmmakers out there doing the same. So I think the tools now, whether it's hardware, software, everything has gotten so powerful. I think
even,
what's that?
No, that like Unreal is free, Unit is free.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, there's a I mean, free to download the engines and all that kind of stuff, but you can absolutely.
Yeah, you've got a lot of affordable tools. I mean, the fact that whether it's, you know, from motion capture to photogrammetry to engines to software to, you know, just the fact that everybody's now used to working remotely. So communication between people that are remote who want to collaborate on a project is now a lot easier. There's so many things that have come together. So I think, you know, that doesn't mean it's easy. You know, I know, like, you know, Miguel and Tran with the Nino, there's a lot of work because to try and pull off a, you know, 22-minute film and trying to achieve film level, you know, quality and effects and score and everything. I mean, they worked on that full time for, what was it, 2.5 years?
Yeah, something like that. It's definitely possible, though.
Yeah, I'm on a 2080 Ti, Stefan. Is there a class at Gnomon on using Unreal Unity as previs tools? The previs class right now, I'm not sure. I would think that's probably still Maya-centric, but that stuff is going towards Unreal as previs studios like Third Floor become more and more Unreal based. Our virtual production class is coming online.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be probably more on the Unreal side than the Unity side.
Ooh. All of a sudden, your sound just kicked up. Is your GPU like going crazy right now?
Mine?
Yeah.
My sound got louder?
To me, it did. Yeah.
That's weird. I mean, I can definitely hear my computer.
I see you rendering, so I'm assuming like something's happening
Just
over there.
Blowing up. Oh man, that's cool. That's a cool. Are you making a sword now?
I am starting with a sword. Yeah.
What? That's cool.
I'm going to try to do this little hilt area. This is a cool feature. This thing, real into this.
Oh yeah.
This is just awesome. And then I'm kind of just seeing what happens with some of these things. Take it. The way I wanted, but I'll take it.
Oh, now I'm fighting this too much.
Try. Is there a way to do a ring? Like I want to cut in a ring, but I guess I could do it as a boolean. I was just wondering if you could do it as a projector.
There's a one of the modifier shapes is an actual ring.
Is a ring. Okay.
Yeah, so you might have to change the modifier shape, and then I think it's like maybe 3 or 4 or something, and then just the modifier itself to make it, because maybe right now it's like super tiny,
like invisible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw you. I think if I was going to do, I think I would just do it as a boolean. I'll undo this. What I think I want to do, let's get some little straps in here.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get, like a like a strap going on around.
Yeah, like around it. Oh, you're doing a single one? Oh, I was gonna do the old what's it called? Extracts.
Oh.
Try that.
What? That makes
Extract
even more
them.
sense. What am I doing?
Do this real quick. Subtool split. Take this. I'm gonna dynamesh this super high, I think. Well, not super high, but enough that it's nice and dense. And then I'm gonna do this. Oh, you're doing the coil.
You know, I'm like, I know there was. No, it's not. What am I looking for? There. Again, the hard way.
If you were starting today to make a key piece for a personal portfolio to get hired by a company, how many days as an average was a good number to not go out of ideal production time? That really depends on what you're making. Did you have something specific in mind, Backfire? As far as what type of asset you're talking about?
I should have gone the next route for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if mine's working yet. I'm having to fight it a little bit.
And yeah, now I'm like super invested in doing it the hard way. And I'm stubborn. I'm like, I'm just going to do it. Nothing that a little bit of polish and Dynamesh won't help, I think. How long have you been working on that scene, Alex? The scene that you, yeah.
Just the last hour?
No, as in, like, did you just start with that, or did you have it? Because I feel like the creature, you were rigging it in the other one, right?
This dude, I sculpted him on a stream, the head on a stream a few weeks ago, and then added a body, and then put him in a scene. And I'm kind of was done with him, but for today, I just thought it'd be fun to try and see if I could get a Mixamo animation into Maya and just render it out. But I made him for this guy. So this scene, which I finished
nice.
on Friday.
That's awesome. Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, I started playing with Embergen, and so made a little serpent on the stream. Like I guess that was a couple weeks ago, and then started playing more with Embergen. So yeah, Embergen's really cool.
I downloaded the demo, but I didn't get a chance to dig in.
It's super, super straightforward. So yeah. I think it's just, since it's node based, there aren't that many nodes.
Right.
And it's what's awesome is it comes with a ton of presets. So you just open the presets and you can kind of figure out what they kind of like SpeedTree, like open some presets and kind of see how the node graph works. And it's really, really fun. It's just crazy, the performance.
That's so cool.
It's all real time. So I wouldn't have tried to do Fire and stuff prior. And now it's just like super, super straightforward. You can import geometry and then just, set it as a collider, set it as an emitter. And so hopefully soon supposedly by the end of this quarter, which technically is today, they were going to release the next version, the 0.75, which was going to have the ability to import animated geometry and export animated, because you can export animated VDBs right now, but you can't have them emit off an animated surface.
Right.
Because then I could take this dude and animate it, export a FBX, bring him into Embergen, set him on fire, and then I'd probably be doing that right now.
That's awesome.
How are those wraps looking?
Oh, painful. I'm doing like the most painful thing I've ever done.
Painful. That's the progress you want to hear.
Why did I go this route, and why am I keep going this route? Like at this point, I'm like, I'm just going to do it. It's just
painful.
That's funny. I feel like I've had that thought on so many things I've done in 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure there's a faster way than the way I'm doing it right now, but
100%.
I'm committed.
Yeah, exactly. It's like now I have to see it through, and then I'm going to get to the end of this whole spiral, which I'm probably 50% in, which sorry to the viewers. And I'm going to get to the end and be like, I don't like it. Which, no, I'll make it. Maybe that's some.
It is a challenge when you're doing work where it's like a little tedious. You're like, I have to do all this work to see if it's going to work,
Yep. I feel like wraps are one of those things that just like, they're cool and they look cool, but they're just always such a pain.
I think it's also how picky do you want to be with it is the thing that I've found personally, where it's like, how much do I really want to go into this?
Didn't you do a mummy when you were in school, Josh?
I did, and that was my first project where I realized what a pain wraps were. I did a whole character that was basically wrapped. And I remember it was for Alex's class, and I was like, you had like 2 weeks to texture something and light and shade and do the whole thing. And at the end of the couple weeks, I was like, like I tried real hard, but it did not go as planned.
Man, like the UVs alone of like just
that was actually what killed me, because I didn't UV them before I didn't UV anything before I started adding all of it. So it was just all these unique meshes. Oof. And it's like these are way too dense for me to unwrap. I can't this was before ZRemesh, so there was no way to do that. It was just like, this is never ever going to work what I have right now. So
I'm curious as to like, well, I mean, I don't know if it would even work. I'm just thinking out loud, but like using XGen to just draw some curves and maybe turn that into,
yeah, I'm sure you could, some way like that.
Polygon strips or something, but I can just thinking about UVing all those little strips and would probably.
And they were dense. I had just sculpted them. I had sculpted all the detail in them. And I was like, oh yeah, I got this down. Like, this is a decent looking sculpt. Just UV these things. And it was like, oh no. I can't get this out. I can't get this out of ZBrush.
It's crazy. Like it's easy. It's so easy to like hate UVs because it's such a, long process sometimes. But honestly, if you want your textures to look right, UVs are everything.
Absolutely.
And even more so in games. Like in games, so many things are, you can't go around just having crappy UVs because.
Oh no, that doesn't fly.
Nope.
These are the ones I did today are the I don't want to spend too much time on this wrap. It gives the appearance of a wrap, but it in no way is an actual wrap.
Yeah, I'm exactly at that point. I'm like, okay, now I'm going to go through. It get to the point that it's like I started, okay, and now I'm like, I just want to go through it really quick and just finish it.
Apparently, somebody says there's something called Intersection Master. I have never used that. Said it would be very good for what I was trying to do. So that's cool.
Another thing that I always forget, and I was playing with it today a little bit. The what is it called? ZBrush Compositor. So for anyone that has, Substance Painter and or Marmoset installed in their computers, I would recommend using it because you want to fast iterate. You can fast iterate with actually, I mean, I could probably take this in there and do something real quick if you want.
Yeah.
You basically end up, it creates a plane and it projects whatever image you render onto that plane and basically creates a height map and creates tessellation in either Marmoset and Substance Painter, so you can see it have volume, but you can texture it there, and it's pretty pretty fun. Like you can, if you get a, like a sculpt in, and then you get an angle, if you want to do like some kind of illustration or something like that, it's just crazy cool. And now I want to do that. And I guess what I was going to is like, I forget that, like sometimes like the ZBrush, they have so many plugins that are so cool.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of them are free.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. There we go.
Somebody asked how EmberGen works.
Oh yeah.
EmberGen, you launch it, and then you have fire.
What?
There you go. Yeah. So
Oh
simple.
man.
And that's how EmberGen works. So if I click on the primitive right there, that's the emitter, and I move it up here, now it's up there. Move it down here, now it's down there. So it's completely real time. Pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. All right, now I'm going to go and play with it after this.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, got convinced.
So yeah, if I go to like dude fire, open that. So this is my dude from that image I showed. So I just imported the geometry and then set it as an emitter. And I didn't want the fire emitting off the feet, so you can create booleans in here. So I've got like, you can see how like as I move this boolean, it's a sphere that's cutting out the geometry. So if while I'm playing inside here, like it was emitting off the whole character, and I can just move this little boolean. So now it's only emitting off like from the knees up.
What?
But look at the speed.
Yeah.
And
So
that's insane.
fast.
That's ridiculous.
I mean,
jeez.
and then for the serpent, same thing. Like I wanted that. So it's the serpent fire B. And then that's the fire that I've got emitting off that serpent. But just to be able to create like, I've got like a little field inside here that's controlling, that's pushing the fire away. And it's so fast.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing about
Insane.
it for me is just how fast it is.
So yeah, that was an unexpected discovery a couple weeks ago. So yeah, that's EmberGen. It's a free like 10-day trial. So Colin, if you want to play with EmberGen, just go to their website, download it, and play with it for 10 days. And the download comes with a bunch of the free presets. So if I go to where EmberGen is installed, which I think is just at the root of the C drive, let's see. Yeah, they put it there. You can see this presets folder has a whole bunch of stuff in it. So explosion fireball. So if I just click on that, click play, and there is a yeah. I mean,
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
isn't
Right.
it?
Go. And there it is.
So really, really, really cool.
I love this new feature. It's so cool.
Oh man, that's a jeez.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pass me your wraps.
They're super easy. All you do is just extract them. Take the mesh, whatever high res it is.
Those are
Just going to
sweet.
do these. Extract those. And then flip it the other direction. Do the same thing. And just push them in and out of each other. They're basically just tubes. They're not actually wrapping. But it gets the appearance enough.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
It's better than my stone wraps.
Cool. Thing right here I got to figure out. That probably isn't what you want your sword to do, but you know,
I don't know. That would hurt.
just get stuck in somebody.
If the intent is for it to hurt.
Yeah. It's achieving that for sure. Just and this is the short version.
Nice. From sword to like letter opener.
Playing around with the Boolean function, it's pretty cool because you can just like almost just treat a mesh. I mean, you just treat it like a Boolean, but like I'm going to set this up. Like I want to cut that off, so I'm going to put it here, right? Because I want to cut that piece off. And I'm just going to kind of draw it out. So I want the angle of it to be like that, probably. So that's where it's going to cut. I'll push this up here, I think. And just click that button. And on.
Nice.
Then I'll mirror that mesh in Z so that it flips it to the other side. Now those little pretty pokey areas are gone.
Nice. That's very cool.
Sure. That'll do. This mesh? A hole in it. Yeah, this is awesome. I haven't made props in so long. I really am enjoying just kind of making like just fun shapes, you know.
Just really gets you again, and even if you're concepting things out and just iterating quickly, like it just helps so much.
Probably even here I'll just like append. What did I do? You could append, you could obviously draw something out, but if I append like a sphere, I want to put like a little thing in there. Get it? What the thing I've had trouble with the live Boolean feature is like understanding what it's doing or where it's going sometimes, especially if you're using the IMM feature. But like all you gotta do is just create the thing that you want to go in there. As I'm starting to understand this a little more.
Yeah.
And then flip it is the way that I've had a lot more success.
And then you have like the
turn that off.
What do they call them? Like your little start groups.
Yeah.
That way, certain things don't cut into other things, which is awesome. Like that's so just brilliant.
Let me just merge this down into one of these. Do that. Because it's not doing what I wanted.
in the case of like something like this, if you wanted to use the compositor,
Hmm.
as long as you have polygroups and everything, your polygroups basically act as like masks. So let's see if I can get the.
Oh, it's on the wrong thing.
Ambergen weapon enchants for WoW. Agreed.
There you go. Dupe this now. Just show this. It's doing gems, right? Let's get some gems in here.
Let's get some gems in there. There's a plugin for Unreal also, which is it allows you to do kind of like fluid simulations, also in real time. But like the UI works inside, obviously inside Unreal, like you were playing a game. It's inside of the viewport, Fluid Ninja, and obviously it spits everything into like flipbook animations. But it's really great. Also, I mean, not. That kind of like explosion, it would take a lot to do in real time, but that immersion is I'm gonna have to play with that. It's too cool.
It's super fun. I mean,
Yeah,
really, I'd say I don't know, because of the speed, it doesn't take long to learn because everything you do, just like the feedback is instant. So all the controls for the fields and turbulence and noise, and you just move the sliders, it updates. So it's crazy.
I was using the mallet brush. I was a pretty big fan of that, actually.
Yeah, I need to export some animated smoke VDBs because all of the VDBs I have on my shelf are static. But
yeah, you could get new ones with that, I feel like, pretty quickly. That'd be awesome.
I'm tempted to do it now, but we got 24 minutes.
Yeah, you're like, maybe not this second.
Not right now.
But soon.
I'm gonna give the compositor a shot and see if we can kind of texture this thing.
Yeah, your weapons are looking really cool.
This thing is amazing. This project primitive and this Boolean thing.
Yeah, together it's just powerful.
Seriously, it's super powerful.
ZBrush compositor.
It's like in a couple hours we've made a couple things. So it's like we have that. Let's see. Let me find this thing. Yeah, this thing. The old weapon display. Gotta get them all. Give that to me. Snapshots acting super weird. Oh, I hear my computer starting to try to take off.
Mine will in a second too. Like
yeah. Like, are you sure you wanted to try that?
Yeah.
I don't think that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, that's the one downside of these GPUs. Like at home, I've got, 2 workstations in my office, and they both have dual GPUs.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm got both of them rendering, it gets so warm in there and loud.
Oof.
Yeah.
So you have to in the winter, I have to block the vent for the heater in that room because the workstations provide more than enough
They
heat.
provide enough for you, sure. Funny. This one is like if I get it too close for some reason, the bounding box is wiping out the image.
Man, the handle on the hammer is just sweet on the mallet.
Such an accident, though.
Yeah,
Like,
that's awesome.
That was not planned in any way. Like, see, it's like somehow erasing everything.
That's weird.
Has a mind of its own, this one.
Sorry.
Yeah, Greg Downing came over the other day, and his girlfriend has a dog that has a bark like that, and but it was doing it like for a long time.
Oh, like the terrifying bark where
Yeah.
it scares no one, but annoys everyone.
But you know it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're aware.
Yeah, I remember like once my kids had a dog like that, and I had to. What was I doing? I was picking them up at their mom's or something, and for some reason, I think we were watching their dog for the weekend, and so they brought the dog to my car, put it in my car, and then went back into the house to get something else. I'm alone in my car with their little Yelper.
Yeah.
And they were gone for like 10 minutes. And for 10 minutes, that dog was,
Man.
I swear my ears started to bleed.
Ugh.
It was horrible. I was just like, I don't like this dog.
Yeah.
I really don't like this
I
dog.
get to that point with mine when they're just like infuriating like that.
And then they gave the dog up for adoption. So they couldn't stand it either, I guess. They found a ranch and like on the East Coast, somebody with a ranch adopted the dog. So the dog ended up having like acres and acres of land to run and roam. So it scored.
It scored like it succeeded. That's funny. Oh, switched to my screensaver. I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. I'm like trying to decide like what I would do with these, and I think I'm done. Like I feel good. I could keep running, but I feel like it's like I would need to spend some time maybe doing some paint overs or something. So
yeah, see, I'm pretty much doing that part. Like
yeah, you're doing the texturing.
like,
so what are you using right now?
So this is the ZBrush compositor.
Uh-huh.
Which is a free plugin also in the ZBrush download plugin area.
Yeah.
And it basically makes it puts your model in a flat plane. Like it'll take whatever screen, however you place it, right? It'll just take whatever that is. So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, and it depends, or it relies, on your canvas being a square. So just go to document and turn Pro off and set it to like 2K, 4K, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever view you have, that's what's going to render out, and it'll send it to Substance. And it's basically a plane that has like, it's using tessellation and a height map to extrude it. See, it's like, it's not the whole thing. So it'll always stay in that view, but it reacts to light. And if you have poly groups, you should. They basically, that's your ID map. So I can do a mask with color selection and then just pick what areas I want to be what, and then it'll basically, do it. So it's a good way to like, throw in a couple of like materials and see how things are looking and iterate quickly. Then you can send this to Marmoset and see it there.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of thing. I mean, I don't know. I'm just, quickly
playing
with materials here. having that, I can just, then my spikes can be all different color.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, as I turn the color selection, then I have access to all those things. So for example, I don't know, let's grab, sure, this. And a black mask. And then color selection. Pick. Aha. Paint.
It's interesting. It reminds me a lot of
All right, that's not going to work.
early Quixel.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it reminds me of.
So see, I kind of screwed up there, and like my color selection, this poly group
Mm-hmm.
is the same as the.
Oh, it's the same, so it's like overwriting it.
Yeah,
or it's
and I
applying to
can't
both.
really pick that area out. I mean, let me see if I can.
There's no image manipulation tools or whatever.
Right, because essentially you're relying on this kind of like flat image to do that. Like I can't even paint over it, really. So no wood.
It's cool though that you can kind of play around with like it's like a visualizer in a way.
Yeah.
You can export that though to.
You can
You
take,
said
for
Marmoset?
example. Yeah, I would export the textures out, and the same thing. ZBrush will, if you go to the plugin, you can send this to Toolbag, and it'll say that, say okay, and it's going to re-render the whole thing and open a Marmoset scene with the model in the exact same fashion like Substance, right? It's like this flat plane that's just been extruded out, I guess, or
Sure, yeah.
displaced. That's a word that I was looking for. And then in Marmoset, you can just set it up just like that too, right? Like you can export whatever textures you have from Substance, put them in your material. That way you can get your base colors and stuff to look the way you want, get a render out of that, take that into Photoshop, and then finish the illustration however way you want. So if you wanted to do it with a character or creature or anything or an environment even, you can totally do it. It's just going to be this just flat image.
So it's like rendering all the passes right now.
Right. It'll render all the passes, and then it'll send everything to Marmoset, but it will also set everything up in Marmoset for me. Like it'll have the material with everything on it.
That's really cool. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I love this for like, especially again, for like if you want to paint something quick or throw it in there, or even to get, again, just to get an illustration, you can. Oh, that's great. This one looks just fantastic.
This one, from one angle, I'm sure it looks great.
Yeah, I just have to kind of match.
You have to
like Photoshop paint filter.
Yeah.
Also, you can, I can subdivide it here in Marmoset to.
That's funny.
Avoid it breaking. Come on, buddy. Oh, trying to match the camera angle is going to be tricky.
Yeah, it's like, is it because you're in perspective or something?
Well, it should. Oh, duh.
It's because you're doing a live demo.
No, of course.
Yeah. But it can actually like, subdivide it enough to get rid of like the harsh edges. And the camera, the actual camera focal length should be the same one in ZBrush. I think it should match that.
Does it like import a camera?
No, I think it just sets it
to it.
Right. See, in this case, where is it? 28.97. So you can change that. It's just trying to now match the plane itself. That's going to be the tricky part. But you have access to. Oh, maybe. Whoa. There we go.
Aha. Just the displacement scale.
Right.
That's cool. So you can still move the light around it and explore it, and.
Yep. And then you can still like you still have all the features from Marmoset, right? Like you can still add. I really want to break it. There we go. You can add, for example, I don't know if you want to have like some sort of a rim light. Let's make. hot pink. Why not?
Yeah, so you know where it is.
Just as long as you match that camera angle, then
Then
you
you're
still have
you're
access.
good.
You have access to all those features. So then put another light in there. And same thing. You can turn occlusion. Everything will work exactly in the same fashion as a working marmoset. You just have this thing just projected out of a plane.
So do you what I mean obviously you could use this for like visualizing a prop obviously or something quick so you could
Yeah.
show it to somebody. But you were saying using it to like make something real quick and put it in. Like is this something you could do for like environment work, I guess, is part of the question?
The problem is with this is like this won't work for anything because it's just a flat plane with the displacement, right? So it's purely for the sake of, some kind of quick visualization and maybe, getting a render out of this, putting it in Photoshop and painting it over.
Mm.
Um, which at that point you could probably use uh, some masks out of ZBrush. I think I
Right.
changed it. So it's purely for that kind of, I guess, iteration and
Mhm.
seeing what you can get out of all this. But I just love the fact that it so seamlessly just takes that and in substance just painting it, right? Like throwing, I don't know, let's see, some, I know you're there, leather, I don't know, it's just something like that. But then being able to export these textures
Mhm.
and you'll put them in the marmoset scene, and basically that way you just end up with this thing textured like this, um, and get a render out of there if you're showing a prop or whichever the case. So I don't know, I think it's a pretty nifty plugin just to
I
play
think it's
around.
cool. Like especially be able to visualize, just be able to kind of see what it would look like in like properly textured or with procedural smart materials or different looks like HDRIs or whatever. That's a really cool feature. Like it's something that I could see being really valuable in, productions obviously, but something where you're wanting to do a proof of concept or you're wanting to do something that kind of shows off that just shows off something. I could see that being super, super valuable.
Yeah, and it's so quickly, just being able to throw something in there, get a quick look out of it. Um, Again, it's just maybe render that out.
Josh, have you used Marmoset?
I have, yeah. I actually like Marmoset quite a bit. It's a great viewer. It's easy to use. It looks
Seems
good.
like the new version well, I'm seeing a lot of ads for it that now has like full ray tracing. So I guess it's now competing with Keyshot.
Oh yeah,
I think it is. Yeah.
use ray tracing. I haven't played too much with the new version. Like I know they added, for example, like a whole new. You can actually texture now inside of Marmoset.
Mhm.
Right.
I didn't really use that too much. I still, Painter and Designer are my go-tos for that kind of stuff.
Right.
And uh, the one thing that I do love, Marmoset's baking tools, especially for for games pipelines, are
Mhm.
just for me are like fascinating because the baker doesn't really, or you don't really have to make a cage anymore.
Mhm.
Marmoset makes a
Makes one for
like a
you.
live, yeah, it makes a live cage that you can adjust. You can paint the offset, or you can paint the like the your normals as well. So if you have like something skewed, you can paint it and it'll like basically fix it for you. You can so it expedites the workflow so much. Um, and I know sometimes it's like, oh well, you're introducing a new software and you can do the same in Substance. Well, you
Mhm.
can't do the
Mhm.
same since I can do the same in Substance, but Substance is Baker. You use this. You need like a naming convention.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, or at least you have to respect kind of like what naming convention you're going to use, like this kind of stuff. And
Right.
you still need to make a cage for it. And this is in order so it can bake, things separately, or make baking groups where Marmoset is just drag and drop into a folder. You can drag it here, drag it there. You can add as many baking groups as you want, just to separate your objects, and then bake everything down to one texture, which is super good. And you don't have to worry about, oh, did I name that right or did I not name that right? I mean, I type with my feet, so I make mistakes all day. So relying on a naming convention, it's a little, if you're doing something quickly, it's just here. I just drag and drop, place them in their baking groups, and go. So
Cool.
I do like that. That's I know it's definitely more 100% on the game side, but
Josh, are you going to print your sword?
Life size, yeah.
You should.
I gotta do some more work to it, but I gotta. This maul is not printable. This thing is like a paper thin shells right now. I'm gonna have to do a lot of work to this thing to make it a real piece. So what's up, guy?
CNC router and make it all out of metal, and then just really.
The sword could though. I think I'll probably put this into some of the other cast of characters that I've been working on. I was kind of putting that behind the scenes in my head, like who could fit for, and so that's where some of the inspiration for some of the shapes ended up going. Well, obviously some of them were accidents, but once I saw them, that's where I thought they could go. But yeah, I think I'll do some more work on both of these. I like the direction they both went, and I'll probably end up using them both for sure. Are you rendering at a full animation right now? I see you're rendering over and over.
Yeah, I'm just rendering out 150 frames.
Nice. How far along are you?
118.
Oh, you're close.
I'm close, inching. I mean, it's rendering. I mean, I've got really low settings, so that's why it's rendering.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, there he is. He's making a step.
Not gonna lie, I haven't rendered anything in years.
Real time for sure is a different experience.
Just, I don't remember hitting that teapot.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I've just kind of got mine sitting up here. I'm kind of just observing. Eventually I think I'll do some more work to them, but I'm kind of at the point now where I would probably take it into Photoshop, do a couple paint overs, maybe explore if they would have colors or what the breakups would be, or how I could change them up, or if I want to change them up. So I feel like it's a solid first pass, like a solid first design pass though, for getting a couple props that way. And it's actually really fun to do them, like to just spend a little bit of time, bashing out some shapes and using the project primitive to see what happens or what it does to the shapes, and then using the boolean, the live boolean. This is probably the most I've really used it on, like the head of the maul and some of the stuff I did for the blade of the sword, but it was really effective. So I'm starting to find ways to like get it into my pipeline, like how you can use it on different shapes. So I will definitely be coming back to it, and I'll probably redo all of those wraps because they're just like, they're just visualized. They're just to show what it could look like, kind of a thing.
I'm like, what does it look without the wraps?
Oh, it's moving. There we go.
Oh, cool. Whoa.
There you go. Yeah. That guy's got a lot of swagger.
Yeah.
Creepy dude coming at you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It feels like that classic, like, they're walking away from the explosion in the background.
Yeah.
Just have a slow walk.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's all right.
Which now you can totally make with Embergen the explosion in the background.
There you go.
I know. Next week.
Got that default explosion that I saw. There was like a mushroom cloud. Put that in there. You need the CSI music at the beginning, the yell. Then you're done. I mean, that works too. Yeah. That's funny. All right, y'all. We have 3 minutes left.
No.
We are almost wrapped up. put these captions on. So if you want to follow Rodrigo, follow him on ArtStation. I'll put up Alex's and I's Instagram here in a second. Rodrigo, thanks a bunch for being on here, man. I like a lot of the details you're starting to put in here too with the textures of that. That's cool.
My pleasure. It was awesome. Super fun.
Yeah, this is fun.
Definitely. Thanks. It was really, really cool to see what you've been up to.
Just working.
Yeah.
never stop.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, this is cool. Thank you. Thanks just for showing me the tools. It was fun to see them, to see what they could do, get a little understanding of them. And
I'm sorry I wasn't like, a lot more, I guess, thorough, because I'm still kind of learning in them and playing with them and, finding out how I can use them. But I think they're just incredibly useful and just super powerful to
they're super cool.
Iterate or come up with like you're saying, just whatever comes out of the chaos,
Mm-hmm. They feel like it's a little bit of controlled chaos, but it's definitely playing with something that has a lot of power and potential for sure. So it's kind of a fun thing to explore and to kind of see what's out there. But thanks again for showing that, and thanks again for stopping by the stream and hanging with us for a couple hours. It's been super fun.
My pleasure. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. We do have some upcoming streams on the Gnomon channel, and we also had some recent events. If you want to check those out, check them out on our YouTube channel. We had one on Monday, a couple of days ago, with Eric Keller, which we were talking about the insects, which was really fun. And then on Thursday before, we had an event with the making of the crudes. So check out those if you want some things to watch, some cool events to watch, and they're on the channels if you want to check those out. As always, hit the subscribe or like or whatever button your channel that you're watching on says if you want to see more information for future streams. And we'll be doing another Art Jam next week from 2 to 5 Pacific time, so we'll be making some more stuff next week. I'm probably going to work on these again.
Nice.
Or I'm going to work on the character that goes with these, so this will be I'm excited to get back to them for sure. All right, y'all. Well, thanks again, Rodrigo. Much appreciated.
Pleasure, thank you for having me. It was awesome.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah,
everybody. We'll see y'all next week. Have a good one.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Later. Bye.